Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing well today. I thought it seemed like about time for us to do story time. I wanted to tell you about an appraisal I was on a while back. This is going to take a minute, but this was kind of interesting. Okay. First of all, I had a really nice colleague in the field send me said, hey, man, they're going to disqualify me because they copied me on a letter, on an email just before they went to appraisal. So I don't really want to fight it. So I'm going to put you in on this. And they were already like a year into this appraisal. First of all, I said, why is it a year old? And they said, well, I got a really precocious opposing. And they had already had an umpire assigned, which I had to agree to, which is court appointed as a judge. No, I don't really love that. So let's keep going here. So I get in touch with the opposing. He hasn't sent his estimate in. We go meet with each other. He brings experts. I realized at that time he had brought something like 18 experts at that time because just talking to the former appraiser. And over the next year, he brought a bunch more and ended up with 42 different experts that he brought into the structure. And the reason why I didn't bring more was because I flew up there and I said, hey, look, you can't come here anymore. This is it. No more after today. Didn't make him particularly happy, and it didn't make him particularly happy that the guy he brought as an expert is a client of mine. But anyway, we just could not get this thing like shut down. And so I contacted counsel. I said, look, this is getting ridiculous. Could you get into court and get the judge to put this on a schedule? Judge puts it on schedule. Now, right now, we're right at 2 years and 3 months into this process. Judge says it's got to be finished in 90 days. So I say, hey, man, we got to meet. We got to get this done. And probably got to go and get the umpire in just to get this on, get on with it. So we arranged to meet the umpire on some Saturday, and he and I agreed to meet on the Friday before that. We stayed at a particular hotel. He rented a room, a conference room. We went in there and did it, tried to go over things, try to get to some agreement on things. Next day, the umpire comes in. We have a talk with the umpire. It's over. We go on about life. About 3 weeks later, the umpire sends her award, which was just literally just, they don't write estimates. They just write kind of awards, which is kind of a mess. But let me go back and explain to you what was going on here. First of all, my opposing appraiser had specified that a single vendor, which is a national company that does lots of insurance work, estimated the loss and was going to do the recon on this particular loss. I had the contractor contact them, offer them the job, offered a contract with them at the rate that was on this guy's paper, and they said they weren't tooled up to do it, weren't licensed to do it, and they would never take that job. I said to the umpire, hey, this is a materially false document because this can't be done for this price. In addition to that, this particular policy had some provisions in it where if you found, say, asbestos and lead in a particular structure, even if it wasn't touched by the loss, it would be part of the loss, and you would have to mitigate that. Add to the fact that this is a facility, it's a small manufacturing facility that has incredible liquidated damages if they don't turn over turn out their products in the cadence they're supposed to turn them out. So in addition to that, their building basically was below the base floodplain, and they had gone to the nth degree to get somebody to agree to let them go ahead and do the recon on this building, because obviously it was going to hurt them so terribly if they had to shut down the building and move to another building without a lot of prep. So anyway, the umpire comes back and does the weirdest version of us splitting the baby. She comes back and she gives me my full $500,000 worth of law and ordinance stuff. And then she gives what was a $790,000 recon scope that my opposing had submitted this fraudulent document for like $312,000. She gives the $312,000 based on that total. She says to me, "You should be happy you got more than he got." I say, "No, I'm not happy because it's not enough money to do the job that we're prescribed to do. It's a terrible deal." He signs it. I didn't sign it. It gets sent on. I found out later, not long after that this opposing appraiser had spent right at $79,000 on experts for this particular job over 2 years and 3 months, which was just amazing to me. And the opposing appraiser calls me up and says, "Well, I'll be glad to see you on the next one." And I said, "I'm never going to see you on the next one." He says, "Why not?" I said, "Because you introduced materially false things into this appraisal, and I don't think I want to work with you anymore." He says, "Well, if I get appointed on one that you're on, you won't have a choice but to work with me." I said, "No, that's not true. You set up a hotel for us to stay at. We stayed at the same hotel. You've got a room for us to work in. You propositioned me. I rejected you. And I think that will reflect poorly on the process if we were to go back into appraisal together." And he said, "That's not true." And I said, "Neither was the fact that this vendor could do the job for the price that they offered. And no, I'm quite serious. I'm never going to meet you again in this format because you don't play fair. Don't expect me to play fair either. Good day." I wasn't very proud of my statement there, but I have laughed at it an awful lot. I usually don't have bad situations in appraisal or umpiring. I have challenging situations, but I very rarely have bad situations. And that was truly horrible. That was a horrible, 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 horrible appraisal. And worse than that, the carrier drug it out another 7 months trying not to pay the appraisal award, even though it was so advantageous to them. It's been several years now, and they are just now getting through with the bad faith, though, and that should be interesting. And I think ultimately the insureds are going to be just fine. But one way or the other, those antics were just freaking terrible. Take care, guys. Have a good day.